What's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake on the mic, coming at you with a brand new episode of the USBL here on MLB The Show 21 on this PS5, of course. And we got a good set of games here as we get ready to start the latter half of the month of May. Trying to finish out the second full month of the season. And our first matchup is going to be the Washington Senators taking on the New York Knights, which are currently leading the AL East as of the recording of this video, of course. But that being said, even though Washington is currently facing the prospect of being swept by the New York Knights here on the road, Washington is certainly not going to go down without a fight. A two-run shot to start things off here in the top of the second inning. And matter of fact, they got a little bit of a rally going on. Eduardo Escobar, he's has 25 RBIs so far in this season. Wanted to try to get him home, but just misses on the bat. But that being said, though, Washington is off to a pretty good start overall, as the Washington Senators will go ahead. They take an early 2-0 lead, and that's really good to see, considering Mike Minor is on the mound today for the Washington Senators, and it has not really been that good of a season so far for Mike. A 6.4 ERA, and you can see why. Just been absolutely vulnerable with the home run ball, giving up a solo shot of his own to Ramon Laureano, his 9th home run of the season. And it didn't take very long, but the New York Knights get their first run on the board. It was a clean inning for the rest of the timeout for the New York Knights. But New York, to a degree, does end up responding, and matter of fact, they are looking to at least tie this game up a little bit here in the bottom of the third inning, as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he's going to send this one out deep to right center field. It's a deep shot. It is going to end up being a ground rule double. Imagine that. And that kind of bails out the Washington Senators a little bit. Falefa has some speed. He could have definitely stretched that out to a triple if he had the opportunity to do so, but I mean, it won't even matter because Mike Moustakas is going to go ahead. He's going to bring Kiner home, and New York will actually go ahead and tie this ball game up. And look at this. They're actually, Mike Minor might be in some trouble. Are they going to pull him out in the third inning? We'll just have to wait and see, but, definitely not a good look for Washington, as knowing who's that? Gone. Like a girl in a country song, Ramon Laureano again. 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and New York jumps out to a 6-2 lead here, as Mike Minor does calm things down a little bit, gets to strike out there. And then against Jake Marinowski, he is also going to get, looks like a pop out to the center fielder. Shouldn't be too much trouble, and it actually was not that much trouble at all. So solid inning for the New York Knights once again, as Ramon Laureano does go ahead and make sure that we got the lead back here at our home stadium. You love to see it, as now Matt Schumacher, he's actually now pitching for the Washington Senators, still in this top of the 4th inning. And right now, it has not been a good start for Washington. I'm wondering how much longer are they going to keep him on the mound, as Mitch Garver, he is on the plate, 0 for 1 so far in the day. He gets a nice base hit as well out to right field, and that's going to drive a run in as well. So another offensive affair here to start this episode off, as we're not even 4 innings in just yet, and there has already been 9 runs scored between both of these teams. Both of them, they got both teams have some bats on offense, so I am not shocked whatsoever. I don't know if it's something where I might need to tweak with the sliders a little bit, when we get to the end of season number 1. I really don't like changing sliders in the middle of the season. But that being said, we might have to change the sliders up here at the end of season 1. Just with all the offensive warfare that we've been seeing so far. A lot of, high-scoring games, which, don't get me wrong, I really like to see that. Offense, I think, is really exciting at the end of the day. But, I mean, it's not the most realistic thing in the world, if I'm being 100% honest with you. So, maybe we'll have some more pitcher-friendly sliders here for Season 2, but in the meantime, you know, gonna be a lot of dingers, so I'm sure you guys won't complain about that too much. You know, love seeing some offense here in the USBL. You know, actually makes the game exciting. You know, that's what we wanted to come out and do. You know, unlike a certain league where the commissioner wants to change rules in the middle of the season. You know, just saying, just throwing it out there. But yeah, game is all tied up at 6 so far here in the top of the 5th inning, and Washington actually does have a chance to go ahead and tie this ball game right up. But that being said, grounder to third baseman Noah Arenado. That's not going to really fly. And yeah, the game is all tied up now at 6 apiece, as Jake Marinowski, he's going to come up to the plate here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he's going to send this one out to left field. Is it going to drop? Is it going to drop? No! It just barely gets it in there past the outstretched arms of the left fielder, and Jake stretches it out to a triple. That 80 speed, absolutely dangerous. And that is the second triple of the season for him. So the game leading run on third base, he's going to be able to get home here as get the force out at first. So now the New York Knights, they have re-established the lead here once again. They have a 7-6 lead as we get to still in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jesse Linker now at the plate. Couple batters later, he's going to send this one out to center field. A little bloop single that's going to advance the runner over to third. So runners on the corners now. Things getting really interesting. And Noah Arenado once again at the plate. He's going to get a 2-1 pitch and just almost gets it by the third baseman, who makes an error. So Noah Arenado is safe, and so is Jesse Linker as well. And we're back with runners on the corners once again. Mike Moustakas at the plate. He's 2 for 3, and he crushes one out to center field as well. And he's able to go ahead. He's going to get a single. And Mike Moustakas drives another run in. And Mike Moustakas, you know, one of the best hitters when it comes to bringing people in. That is his 36th RBI of the season. Noah Arenado also doing some good work as well. He has 28 RBIs going into this game. And that's part of the reason why New York has been doing so well. They're getting so much production from the middle of their batting order. Although the inning will eventually end, but New York certainly did some damage right here. They take a 9-6 lead on the Washington Senators. And the thing is, a couple innings later, they might look to go ahead and add on to this lead, you know, get a little bit more insurance before we go ahead and get into the 9th inning. As looks like there's another deep shot. Moustakas, he thinks it's fair, and it actually is indeed fair. Another home run. Mike Moustakas with his 11th home run of the season. As Washington Senators will go to the bullpen. Cesar Valdez trying to calm things down a little bit here, but it just might get a little worse. It's going to be another home run. This time, Jake Marinowski with his 4th home run of the season. And New York has really opened this game up on the Washington Senators. A 7-run lead. And Washington's going to have to somehow find a way to get it all back here in the top of the 7th. 7 runs, 3 outs. It's not looking good. And Scott Oberg, he still remains in the game, looking to shut things down. 2-2 count here as the pitch is being delivered. And it was hit, so at least you don't strike out, but hit right to the center fielder. And that's going to do things here. The New York Knights take care of business and defeat the Washington Senators by a final score of 13-6, with Aaron Sledgers being awarded the win and Alex Bettinger with the loss. As we'll go ahead now and switch things out over in the West Coast, you know, 2 teams in the American League looking to, you know, try to advance up in the standings. The Atlanta Barons, currently 3rd in the AL East, will be taking on the Las Vegas Lounge Wizards, who are also 3rd place in their division, despite the fact that they are a few games under 500. So that's going to be really interesting to see moving forward. As we just saw the New York Knights win. So Atlanta certainly needs to get this win if they want to keep up here in the AL East. We'll see if they can get the job done. As we'll go ahead now and see a full count with Garrett Hampson at the plate. He sends this one deep to left field. It's carrying. Is it going to be gone? And it will actually carry out of the ballpark. You love to see it. Garrett Hampson hits his 7th home run of the season. And the Atlanta Barons will go ahead and take an early 2-0 lead here, only in the top of the first inning. And that is with taking on Steven Strasburg as well, who does get a strikeout there. We'll see if he can do the same to Bo Bichette. He certainly does. So 2 strikeouts in a row for Steven Strasburg. That will go ahead and bring Yoan Moncada batting .295 so far on the season. He tries to pitch him as well and beats the shift. They shift him down the right-hand side. Nobody available over there. And Yoan Moncada does end up beating the shift in a huge way. It ends up getting his 9th double in the season in the process. So a beautiful way to beat the shift. You know, that's how you stop teams from shifting on you. Prove that you can hit in all areas of the field. But William Tan will fly out in the very next at-bat. So the Atlanta Barons, they will strand a runner on base, but they do at least get a couple runs on board, as it provides a little bit of a cushion for Mike Soroka, who will be the starting pitcher today for the Atlanta Barons. And, you know, he's rolling so far. First 2 innings, you know, hasn't allowed anything just yet. Steven Strasburg starting to calm down a little bit, but he is actually going to give up a double here in the right field corner, and that will be counted as the 8th double of the season for Garrett Hampson once again. That ties Yoan Moncada and Bo Bichette. Moncada, of course, getting that double back in the first inning is Mike Yestrovitz. He's going to hit a short liner just right over the outstretched arms of the shortstop. And Atlanta is going to go ahead. They're going to get another run on board. And Yastrzemski, he's going to go ahead. He gets his 8th double of the season. A lot of doubles on his Atlanta Barons squad. Not a huge home run hitting team, but they know where to pick their spots, and they do have some good speed on this squad to get those doubles, get those triples as well. And we're kind of seeing it, you know, in effect right now as Yoan Moncada is back at the plate. He got a double in his last at bat, gets it out to center field, and this time it almost actually was a home run. Yoan Moncada trying to get out to third base. He does get there, but only because he threw out Mike Yastrzemski at the plate. You hate to see it. So no run scoring thus far here as William Tan will be looking to try to get Moncada home, and will do just that. A short ground ball over the right-hand side. It sneaks through the infield, and that will count as, you know, a single for William Tan. As we check out the stats for Steven Strasburg real quick, and man, oh man, was he riding that struggle bus just a little bit here. And now, you know, it's been a tough day. It has been tough sledding for sure for Las Vegas to start things out. Atlanta opening up their lead here early on, now up 4-0. So we'll see if Las Vegas can get their bats going, because it looks like they're definitely going to need it, as Adam Frazier's at the plate for Las Vegas, batting .246 so far. And that will help out the cause quite a bit. A ball that almost gets over the wall. It was really close. Bounces off in a way where outfielder can't get to it right away. And Adam Frazier, who's not known for the speed necessarily, he gets a triple off the wall. And still waiting for somebody to bring him home, but there is runners at the corners. Nobody out still, as Miguel Sano is going to strike out swinging. That check swing getting to him quite a bit. As Waddell Guerrero Jr. now, 5th batter in this batting order, going to try to bring some runners home, and that looks really good. And that will drop in the field of play. Adam Frazier is going to get home, and Waddell Guerrero Jr. is also going to stretch out a double in the process. His 5th double of the season. And more importantly, the Las Vegas Lounge Wizards will get their very first run on the board, and they'll look to add a little bit more as a little bloop single does drive another run in. So just in a matter of 2 at-bats, we're actually going to go ahead and see, you know, the lead being cut in half as Mike Soraka, who's on the mound for the Atlanta Barons, going to get a little bit of a pep talk, but it does look like they aren't going to go ahead and pull him just yet. Just trying to see if they can calm him down a little bit as he faces Chad Diogara, and that will help a little bit. A double play following the little mound visit that we saw. So nice job by the manager to make sure that his, you know, starting pitcher calms down a little bit, and the Atlanta Barons will get out of the inning. Don't give up any more runs after that, and so Las Vegas will still need a couple more runs if they want to go ahead and tie this game up. But first and foremost, Steven Strasburg's got to get back on track, trying to get some clean innings put together here. He's running a pretty high pitch count already, 73 pitches and counting. Although that won't help whatsoever. That one in the right field gap, that's going to at least be a double, and that's going to move the runner to second and third base. So once again, already the third time in this ball game, Las Vegas is in deep trouble. And they face Garrett Hampson once again. He's 2 for 2 so far on the day. Looking to make it free for free. That's hit deep to center field. It's going to be a sacrifice fly. But Garrett Hampson does manage to get the job done. And the Atlanta Barons get another, yes, another run on the board here. So now a 5-2 lead for Atlanta. And they're still up to bat as well as Mike Sariski tries to hit this one hard, but hits it right to the shortstop, unfortunately. That's baseball for you. Sometimes you hit the ball really well. Sounds great off the bat, but, I mean, you hit it right to a fielder. Not really much that you can do about it. But Atlanta, despite that, they still have a 3-1 lead to work with. Oh, that was a little bit of a tongue twister. Try saying that 3 times fast. 3-run lead, you know. But Las Vegas, they're trying to make a comeback. They got runners on the corner as Josh Jung, who was listed as a top 50 prospect prior to this season. And it has been getting some good USBL action here. He flies out to the right fielder, but does his job, make sure he gets it out of the outfield. And Las Vegas, you know, gets that run back, you know, that they gave up in the previous inning. So it's back down to a 2-run lead. And the thing is, Walker's there's been a couple of walks that got it loaded up here, and it looks like there's going to be at least 1 run scored. This might be a base clearing triple here by Cody Bellinger. All the runners are safe, and Las Vegas will retake the lead. Cody Bellinger, what a time to have your very first triple of the season, as Atlanta does decide to make a move, and they go to Jeremy Jeffries from the bullpen, who closes the door and prevents any more damage from being done. And the Atlanta Barons, they find themselves on the opposite end for the first time today. We'll see if they can respond, but they'll have to deal with a brand new pitcher from Las Vegas. Seth Lugo comes into the game now here in the top of the 8th inning as he faces Evan Longoria. 1 for 2 so far in the day, and he strikes him out. Swinging, got him chasing on the slider, as that leads to Christian Pash. Couple batters later, he gets the opposite result, though. Gets some nice contact hitting. Gonna actually move the runner over the third. Longoria, no, not Longoria, somebody else. Just so much happening, you know, just names just fall right off the wayside, but it's still a double nonetheless, as Pedro Severino comes to the play now. 1 for 3. Runners on second and third, and might just go ahead and drive him home. And Atlanta will get back in this ball game. Gets off the wall, and Severino right there will go ahead and give the Atlanta Barons a lead back. And so Las Vegas, they had enough of it. They go to the bullpen again. Seeing Ryan Butcher coming up here for Las Vegas. Let's see if he can clean things up here. But so far, not so good. Another single. It's going to bring in another run. The throw was offline. Granted, you know, not the fastest runner on the face of the planet, but doing his job, though. Atlanta gets another run on board, but that will not count towards Ryan Butcher because he was already on base prior to the start of his pitching appearance. As looks like we have a safe runner. Ray Gillian who had the RBI earlier. He gets his 8th stolen base of the season, as there's still a runner on second with 1 out. And Garrett Hampson, he's hit the ball really well today, but is going to strike out for the very first time today, and that's going to be the 2nd out here in the top of this 8th inning. As Mike Goretzky, he's going to go ahead and he's going to strike out, as he was just doing that window shopping. He was just looking, as Ray Morinata will come into the game now. Has had 1 opportunity to save a game thus far, but has not had any actual saves so far this season. Let's see if they can give him the opportunity to do so, depending on how he does in that 8th inning, of course. But that being said, we got another home run here. Kyle Tucker with his 7th home run of the season. In this particular game, we've seen a lot of almost home runs, but there hasn't been any. That might be the first, at least first or second home run of this game. This will be the 3rd one, just going basically back to back. Las Vegas not wasting any time off a Cody Bellinger home run, his 5th of the season. As Ty Buttery, he comes into the game now, tries to calm things down a little bit, does get the strikeout. It was a long at bat, but finally got it done, as Travis Denard comes in. He's been having a phenomenal day so far, 4 for 4. That might be 5 for 5 right there, as he gets that out to the wall as well. Travis Denard, we haven't said his name much today, but he's been, getting a bunch of singles, all that kind of stuff as well, and arguably one of the best USBL performances that we have seen in, over the course of a season, the inaugural season of the USBL, of course, as Atlanta has to bring in another pitcher, Hansel Robbins, who finally cleans things up here a couple batters later. No more damage is done, but Las Vegas now puts themselves in a position to where all they got to do, they got to get 3 outs, and they will pull a little bit of an upset on the Atlanta Barons. Barons, having a little bit better of a season than what the Lounge Wizards are doing. Their Lounge Wizards being under 500, Atlanta over 500. So you would expect Atlanta to make sure they can go ahead and take care of business. But, Atlanta's not going to go down quietly. Yohan Moncada gets a double. And with 1 out remaining, it goes into the hands of Evan Longoria, trying to save the game. That's one way to keep your team alive. A hit down the left center field. That brings Yohan Moncada home. And Evan Longoria gets to second base. He won't represent the tying run, but that being said, the next batter will. And Las Vegas makes a change. Seferoni Dominguez facing Pedro Severino to end the game, but it's hit deep to left field. It's going to drop. That's going to bring in a couple of runs. And the game, all of a sudden now, is all tied up. You'll absolutely love to see it right now. And the game all tied up at 11 apiece. Ray Gillian could mess around and give Atlanta the lead right back. That would be a wild 9th inning. And Ray Gillian might deliver as well. This just barely drops as well. And oh my goodness gracious. Now Atlanta finds themselves in the lead. They start off this inning down by 3 runs. And now Las Vegas goes to the mound once again. Going to Joseph Shaw this time around. His 17th appearance of the season. As Garrett Hampson, while batting, going to see a steal, and it's Ray Gillian with his 10th stolen base of the season. So now he's in scoring position as well. As now Joseph Shaw pitching out to Garrett Hampson, 2 for 4 on the day. He pops this up into the air, and it looks like, unless we see a miracle here, the inning is now over. But what a rally by the Atlanta Barons in order to stay alive. And we're going right into the bottom of the 9th. Tyler Duffrey comes into the game. His 11th appearance, has not blown a save thus far this season. It looks like he will continue that unless Miguel Sano has something to say. But he just might, down left center field. It is gone. It is gone. A home run solo shot. Miguel Sano ties the game. Tower Stuffy still remains in. Wells Guerrero Jr., however, tries to play hero, hit another home run. But he's actually going to miss, though. But Miguel Sano, who has not had a hit all day today, able to get it in. And later, in the very next inning, bottom of the 10th, that's where we skip over towards. Travis Denard comes in, 5 for 5 on the day, and he wants to go home. It looks like that is going to go ahead and get the job done. The 5th home run of the season for Travis Denard. Oh my goodness gracious. Huge home run. And Las Vegas is going to go ahead and walk it off here. You absolutely love to see it. Just some amazing action here. And Las Vegas is going to win this thriller, winning this game by a final score of 13-12. So we go about having our first check-in, seeing the Louisville Colonials and the Columbus Jets, go up against each other. But I mean, the Jets were pretty much grounded in this one, led by a 7-run inning. Louisville ends up winning this one by a score of 12-0. Yu Darvish had a pretty dominant performance, only allowed 3 hits in 7 innings pitched, and then Charlie Blackmon, he had himself a day as well, going 4 for 4, as well as having a triple and a double in this ball game. Matthew Boyd does get credit for the loss. He was the starter. That started off for the Columbus Jets, but it did not start out well for them whatsoever. So let's move on over to a game that is a little bit more of a battle for, say, the Aurora Lightning going to be taking on the Indianapolis Indians, and this certainly is going to be a really intriguing matchup for sure. The Indianapolis Indians currently have a half-game lead over the Aurora Lightning, and yes, I know that is still somewhat early in the season. We haven't completed 2 full months as of right now, but that being said, if games, if races become really tight, every game, all of those 162 games end up mattering in a big way. So even though it's an early season matchup, yes, this could, play a bigger role later down the road, depending on how the rest of the season shapes out for both the Aurora Lightning and the Indianapolis Indians as well. As we cut to the top of the first inning, Anthony Rendon at the plate for the Aurora Lightning, and while he does ground out to the shortstop, he does his job and makes sure the runner is able to go ahead and get home, and because of that, Anthony Rendon, not considered a hit, but will tack on another RBI once again, as Dominic Smith comes to the plate, the 4th batter in this lineup, but only batting .239. It looks like it won't be getting that much better anytime soon. So, that being said, the Indianapolis Indians, they are going to find themselves, before they even start batting, they are going to be down 1-0 here. As we take a look at the Aurora Lightning starter, Morel Kelly, he's going to be on the mound for the Lightning here today. Although, not a great start for him either. Looks like he might likely give up some runs here in the first inning, as he's actually bottom of the 2nd inning. But, going to be in a little bit of a jam here as Avisel Garcia comes to the plate, batting only .218, but still 2 outs. Although a nice well-hit ball down the left field line, and it's going to be counted as fair. Going to try to stretch it as a double, though, and does manage to do so, just that. The Indianapolis Indians taking a 2-1 lead. And looking to add as well as Brian O'Keefe. He's at the plate, but fouls it off. Catcher is going to be able to get to it relatively easy. And yeah, you absolutely hate to see it. So, Indianapolis, they take a 2-1 lead as Morel Kelly comes in, takes on Jose Altuve here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, as, Indianapolis looks to continue their, the little bit of a lead that they got going on right now. Jose Altuve getting things started here with 2 outs and gets his hitting streak up as well. He has really picked things up here in the month of May. He is now on a 19-game hitting streak. And look what happens when you can't close out innings. if you leave that door open, some teams are going to be able to jump on it. And when you're a first-place team, more often than not, you take advantage of that. And LINDOR certainly did so. 2-run shot, able to extend this lead. Now a 4-1 lead. Although there will not be any more runs scored in this inning. Although Francisco LINDOR hits a nice shot here, able to get the barrel on the bat. And now we'll see if the Aurora Lightning can respond. Kiki Hernandez asking Kiki, do you love me? I'm sure you'll love that hit. Gonna bring at least run home in. Gonna bring a second run in as well. And Aurora from Illinois able to get a couple of RBIs. It's not base clearing, but that being said, still a really quality hit. And is only down by 1 run now, which looks to be a tied ball game potentially. Although not, still considered an out. Runners are now at the corners though. There's still only 1 out. So the Indians, they do end up bringing in Julian Fernandez with a 3.98 ERA thus far this season. As he pitches to Willie Andreas, he hits a moonshot out to left field. Counted as a line drive, but just willed it over the wall though. And now the Lightning are back on top. They now have a 6-4 lead once again as Julian Fernandez takes care of the rest, but Aurora is back with the lead once again as Willie Andreas gives the Lightning the lead they needed. Despite the fact that they've only had 3 hits this entire game, it's just been some smart base running, get a little bit lucky with the home run ball. And speaking of that home run ball, how about, yes, another home run here. Bottom of the 5th inning, a solo shot this time for Alex Baum, his 5th home run of the season. As that will go ahead and bring up Jose Altuve. Batting 3 for 10 on the series thus far, but has at least secured a hit in this game, continued a 19-game hitting streak. But why have 1 hit when you can always have 2 hits as well? Jose Altuve stretching this out to a double. He's been starting to pick it up a little bit as of late. He had a really slow start in the month of April, but has really done a nice job recovering since then, and that's something that you'll really like to see as Francisco LINDOR tries his luck with a second home run, and might do just that. Yes, he does end up hitting a second home run in this game, his 7th of the season. So now the Indians, they have the lead again. You'll love to see it. The Aurora Lightning briefly had it, but it did not last very long whatsoever. As we'll go ahead and cut into the top of the 8th inning. Diego Castillo coming in now, doing a little bit of bullpen work, trying to make sure it's set up for the closer for the next inning. And oh my, what a strikeout for Diego Castillo. But can he get Anthony Rendon as well? 0 for 3 on the day. Little base hit out to the right-hand side. Second baseman could not get there in time as Anthony Rendon, in a timely manner, gets his first hit of the day, and he continues his hitting streak as well. He now has a 6-game hitting streak, but will be replaced by Brent Phillips off of the bench. So, really interesting time right now as Corey Dickerson comes in. 0 for 3 thus far on the day. Gonna try to bring Brent Phillips around. This is a well-hit ball, and that is gone like a girl in a country song. It ends up leaving the ballpark, and Corey Dickerson gives the Aurora Lightning a lead once again. As Dewanza Hernandez comes in to try to clean things up, he does just that. Able to get the strikeout on Willie Adams, but Corey Dickerson gives the lead for the Lightning. But can the Lightning build this lead up just a little bit more? Make sure, prevent Indianapolis from having a late 9th inning rally. Because 1 run really is not a lot in the scale of the USBL, if we're being honest. Because, we have a little bit more offense. So 1 run here in the USBL is not as hard to get as it is, say, in a certain league that, likes to change rules in the middle of the season. I won't say the name, but those of you watching this video, you know who it is. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And like I said, Aurora does get that insurance run. Tyler Clifford, the catcher for this team, he's going to be brought in by BENITO OSUNA, and a little bit of insurance to work with. So a 2-run lead now to be able to get things going, give a little bit more breathing room for the closer. And good thing too, because literally the next at batter is the 3rd out, but BENITO OSUNA gives the Lightning a little bit of insurance to work with as Ryan Presley comes into the game now. 14th appearance of the season, 10 saves, only 1 blown save so far this season, and it's off to a really, and I mean really good start here as well. Gets his first strikeout. Actually is currently 3rd place in the entire National League in terms of most saves as of right now, only trailing Trevor May of the Philadelphia Patriots and Edwin Diaz of the Los Angeles Saints. As Andrew McCutchen now comes to the plate, 0 for 4 so far on the day, but this could be a big hit for him though. He has runners on base, and Andrew McCutchen is going to also go ahead and walk it off. Yes, 2 walk-offs in this episode. The 10th home run of the season for Andrew McCutchen. And that right there is how this game ends. Ryan Presley blows his 2nd save of the season. As we'll go ahead now and shift things out west as we take a look at this AL West matchup between the Seattle Pilots and the San Antonio Outlaws. But the thing about the San Antonio Outlaws, even though it has not been a good start for them thus far, they're 12-21. So definitely one of the slower starts here in the USBL season. They have actually won the first couple of games against the Seattle Pilots, and they do have an opportunity to go ahead and sweep as well, but they have to get past Mackenzie Gore, who's been having a surprisingly good season. His 7th start, counting today, of course, but has a 3-0 record, not the best stats, of 3.5 ERA, but just a guy that happens to know how to win. But Mackenzie Gore is going to actually give up the very first run in this game, however, and the San Antonio Outlaws, here at their home stadium out in the homesteads of San Antonio, gonna give up, of the first run of the game. San Antonio up ahead. You love to see it as John Gomes comes up to the plate. He's gonna hit this out to the right-hand side and is gonna go ahead, hit right to the right fielder. You absolutely hate to see it, but San Antonio is actually gonna strike first, and looks like they're in the process of starting, want to get off to a better start here. That's what San Antonio problem really has been. They have really slow starts in the game, and, they try their best, to go ahead and, get back into it. But at the same time, it just, you can only do that so many times, and that will certainly help them. Another couple of runs scored here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, as Dylan Moore will go ahead. He's going to strike out. And Javier Baez, 1-1 count here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. He's not going to strike out, but is going to ground out to Mackenzie Gore, who's a nice little fielder as well for Seattle whenever he is on the mound. But still, San Antonio still trying to build this lead up a little bit more, and they don't plan on stopping anytime soon. As we get to the bottom of the 3rd inning, Jose Ramirez takes this out deep to left field, and that is another home run. Nobody out there to get that anytime soon. The 5th home run of the season for Jose Ramirez, and it counts as a 2-run shot as well. His next batter, Tisco Hernandez, he gets a hold of one as well. Out in the clear blue skies, that is gone. Home run. Tisco Hernandez, his 8th of the season, and that means starting pitcher's day for the Seattle Pilots, it's done. It's over with. Austin Pruitt has to come into the game, coming in only after a couple of innings. And the Seattle Pilots, they've had a solid start to the season so far, but one thing that has kind of held them back a little bit is the team pitching. They come in, to today's game, 4.5 ERA. That's the 3rd worst in the entire American League. But yet, despite that, they are still in, 2nd place in their division. If they can get that pitching right, whether that is with a trade or, get some development within the farm system or development, here with the USBL club, Seattle could be one of those sleeper teams that could end up, potentially winning winning it all here in season number 1. But as of right now, they got bigger things to worry about, as after 3 innings, Seattle finds themselves down 6-0, and it stays like that for a really long time, as Aaron Kimball has really been feeling himself, been somewhat efficient so far in the day. But Elvis Andreas looking to change that, though. Get a base hit out to right field. Although it's almost a diving grab, though. That could have certainly been the end of the inning if that catch was made, as there was 2 outs. But instead, Tommy Edman's going to get a chance to get the first runs in for the Seattle Pilots. And Tommy Edman just might deliver. Third baseman could not get a handle on the ball. And I don't know if they'll count that as a base hit or if they'll count that as an error. I personally think it will be counted as a base hit. That was a really hard hit ball. That is a difficult play to make out there in the hot corner. So I'm sure it'll be counted as a base hit. But in the meantime, Aaron Judge helping the cause for the Seattle Pilots. A 3-run shot out into left center field. It is the 10th home run of the season for the Judge, the jury, the executioner, and it's home run number 10. But to add on to it, Seattle's going to hit a second home run in this inning as well, and it's Rafael Devers. He gets his 8th home run of this season, and just in a blink of an eye, Seattle is right back into this game. It is only a 1-run game as of right now. David Dahl could not get on base, and that will end the inning. But if that diving play was made out there in right field, I know it's a really tough play. Those 5 runs that Seattle had would certainly have not happened whatsoever. So you hate to see it, but also you love to see it as well. As Seattle does get themselves back into this ball game. But the San Antonio Outlaws, they're not going to just roll over and die, despite what that record says, as they are going to keep fighting throughout the course of this game. Yan Gomes actually gets his very first home run of the season. Nice time to do so. Helps stem the tide of the Seattle Pilots offense. But I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're going to have to keep up the production that they had in the beginning of the game, and they just haven't done so as of late. As it looks like we got somebody stealing for second, and it is in time. It will be counted as a wild pitch, as Jared Gutsu just threw that one in the dirt. Catcher could not handle it. On the very next pitch, though, he's going to get somebody. The strikeout looking, was really feeling that window shopping just a little bit more. As Dylan Moore's at the plate, he's going to go ahead. He's going to bring in a run in as well. Gets it past the third baseman, trying to stretch it into a double. The throw being offline, unfortunately. Dylan Morgan in his third double of the season. And San Antonio trying to increase their lead once again. They get it back up to a 3-1 lead. But that is all that is going to happen in this inning. Seattle still in a tough spot. They're almost back to where they were. A 3-run game, as Silvino Blanco only pitched in a handful of games thus far, but when he's came in, he's been doing really well. We'll see if he can keep that going, see if he can potentially earn some more opportunities in the San Antonio bullpen. They haven't been using him all that much. Although full count, going to be a hit deep down the left field, and we might have just jinxed him, guys. We might have just jinxed him right there. Rafael Devers gets his second home run of the day, his 9th of the season, and they pulled him real quick too. Dellin Batage is going to come into the game now for the San Antonio Outlaws. 2 outs, but there is somebody on first base. He represents the tying run. And almost, that contact with the ball almost gives them, the Seattle Pilots, the lead back. And now Seattle, just with 3 outs remaining, are they going to get upset as well? Is San Antonio going to work back into this game? But Jose Leclerc having a hard time, making sure that they actually close this game out. But it looks like it's going to be a blown save for Jose Leclerc, as that hit by Tommy Edman gives the Seattle Pilots their very first lead of this ball game, and what a time to do so. San Antonio has to go back to the bullpen once again. This time going to Scott Alexander, who has an extremely high ERA, 27 ERA. That is atrocious. And you're asking him to come in a critical moment to make sure that this game doesn't get out of hand, that the lead doesn't increase. A little bit of a questionable call in my opinion, but they might be running thin in bullpen pitchers over there in San Antonio if that actually is the case. But, you know, to my surprise, Scott Alexander actually does a pretty decent job. But the thing is, though, San Antonio, they are down by 2 runs. And they got to deal with Brandon Workman, who's done a pretty good job himself of getting some saves. 13 saves so far on the season already. You'll love to see it. As there's 2 outs left here in the bottom of the 9th. Working on Hernandez. That's hit deep to right field, and that's going to just drop. Tescavar Hernandez keeps the hopes and dreams for the San Antonio Outlaws just barely alive. His 8th double of the season. And that will bring in Yan Gomes. 1 for 3 so far on the day. Down to the last strike, though! And Yan Gomes whiffs at some air and is going to strike out swinging. And the Seattle Pilots complete the comeback, and they're going to win this game by a final score of 10-8 despite a really good start for the San Antonio Outlaws. So for the final game of today's USBL episode, we will have an NL East matchup that has the Philadelphia Patriots taking on the Charlotte Cougars. And Philadelphia Patriots, you know, you see them vibing in the dugout. They are also vibing on the field as well. You know, on the verge of sweeping this Charlotte Cougars squad. And, you know, no wonder they're feeling pretty good. They get to go up against Josh James, who, even this late in the season, has an ERA close to 10 so far. But they're realizing real quick that, you know, he has the ability to strike people out too. But he also has the ability to give up some home runs as well. DJ LeMahieu gonna be feasting to start things out here in the top of the 1st inning. Gonna be considered a 6th home run of the season for him, and you absolutely love to see it. Bryce Harper gonna get a crack at it as well. He also hits this one pretty hard, but I don't think it's gonna go ahead and leave the ballpark just yet. So Philadelphia Patriots, they get to go ahead and strike first. They will be, you know, enjoying an early 1-0 lead here so far. And I'll tell you what, the Philadelphia Patriots might be one of the most complete teams in the USBL, batting .275, also with a sub-4 ERA, but that won't necessarily help either, as Charlotte is going to actually go ahead and strike back. Ian Happ gets his 7th home run of the season. And all of a sudden, this game is all tied up at 1 apiece, with Jomer Colorado going to go ahead and try to take a swing at it. He strikes out. That will bring in Jurickson Profar up to the plate. Mac Fry in a little bit of trouble here, actually, but looks like he's going to go ahead and get out of it. Routine ground ball. Thank goodness. That could have been some serious damage that the Charlotte Cougars could have done, but it was simply just not meant to be, unfortunately. And this game will still remain tied at 1 apiece. But that being said, Joey Votto trying to change things up at the plate, trying to change the score, of course. All he changed is the number of strikeouts he had on the season, because he will end up striking out swinging. But that being said, though, Charlotte does get somebody in the scoring position thanks to Tim Anderson, who has his 5th stolen base of the season. As 2 batters away, Ian Happ back at the plate once again. He's had a home run earlier, and Tim Anderson is going to be brought home thanks to none other than Ian Happ, his 2nd RBI of the day for him. And the Charlotte Cougars will also go ahead and enjoy their 1st lead of the day. They're now up 2-1. As Connerero, he just been riding that struggle bus just a little bit. His 2nd strikeout of the day is now Garrett Cooper. He's at the plate batting, you know, .278 so far on the season. Could have been some more damage. Again, Charlotte they're not batting too bad this season either. They're batting .260. What's kind of been their problem is the timely hitting. They just cannot, at times, they've really struggled with getting some hits together. It's been a little bit of an Achilles heel besides Josh James, of course, who gives up another extra base hit, it looks like. As Bryce Harper, he actually is going to try to go ahead and get it to 2. It will actually do just that. A double for Bryce Harper, his 14th of the season. So now runners in scoring position now. Justin Upton at the plate. He's 0 for 1 so far. He's going to send this one deep in the left center field, but is it going to stay in the ballpark? Yes, it is. But that being said, though, getting the job done with that sacrifice fly. And that is going to go ahead and give the Philadelphia Patriots, a tie ball game here in the top of the 4th inning, as Jesus Aguilar wants to try to take the lead, but, got a little bit fooled on that pitch, and he's going to do a little bit of window shopping instead. Josh James feels really good about it. You love to see the emotion that he has for sure. And yeah, this game is now all tied up at 2 apiece. As we'll go ahead now and cut to the bottom of the 5th inning. Tim Anderson up to the plate. 0 for 1, but has gone on base due to a walk. But he has a little bit of power to him as well, as he ends up hitting a home run himself. And just in a blink of an eye, the Charlotte Cougars retake the lead thanks to the 9th home run of the season for Tim Anderson. And the thing about Tim Anderson, after him is Joey Votto, one of the better contact hitters in baseball. It's on the decline, though, because he takes another strikeout here once again. His 2nd strikeout of the season, or not of the season, of this game. That would be a little bit ridiculous after, 35, 40 games that at least this particular team has played. But still, either way, Charlotte will take a 3-2 lead. And matter of fact, the Patriots have to go to the bullpen here a little bit. They go to Joe Barlow here in the bottom of the 6th inning, as we take a look at Garrett Cooper, who's 0 for 1 thus far, and gonna keep the good vibes going for the city of Charlotte. He takes this out of the ballpark. Home run for Garrett Cooper, his 7th home run of the season. And Charlotte extends their lead now up 4-2, as Yoenis Cespedes with a 4-2 lead. He strikes out, though. And now Gary Sanchez at the plate with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Barlow with the delivery, and he's going to strike him out swinging too. He's starting to get it rolling just a little bit here. Jerickson Parler, he will make contact, and it's a nice hit. It actually might get out of the ballpark, though, but it dies at the warning track, though, unfortunately. So Garrett Cooper helps extend the lead for the Charlotte Cougars, as it now becomes a 4-2 lead for them. As Charlotte feels good about going to the bullpen now. Blake Parker, who has a little bit better of an ERA than Josh James, but give credit where credit's due. Josh James actually had a solid outing, only allowing 2 runs throughout the course of this entire game. But then, ironically, it's the bullpen that starts to struggle. Justin Upton ends up getting a home run. That ties the game, so Josh James will no longer be eligible for the victory. You hate to see it, as a starting pitcher, but it is what it is. That is the game of baseball, as Jordan Hicks comes into the game, his 4th appearance of the season, trying to make sure they close out the 7th inning A-okay. But he has a really high ERA, though, an ERA of 27. And if that was not swung at, he probably would have gotten a base. That looked like it was about to hit him right there. But, I mean, it is what it is. Game still remains all tied up at 4 apiece. As we'll come to the bottom of the 8th now. Cody Wheatley on the mound for the Philadelphia Patriots. But Charlotte under threat of scoring here, as runners will now be on the corners. And there's only 1 out. So this next at-bat gonna be huge. Gotta get Jerickson Profar out. Preferably with a strikeout, as well as contact will likely bring him home, and that's a way to do it. What a timely pitch by Cody Wheatley, and that gives some breathing room as he takes on Tim Anderson, who's got some speed on him. So if it leaves the infield, it's a wrap. That's leaving the infield. It's a wrap, and it's more than a wrap. It's a 3-run shot for Tim Anderson, his 2nd home run of the game, and his 10th of the season, as Charlotte will go ahead and extend their lead on the Philadelphia Patriots. as Joey Votto looks to get on the action. He's 0 for 4. Actually makes contact, but it's unfortunately going to be considered an out. So Joey Votto still struggling a little bit, 0 for 5 on the day thus far. But that being said, Charlotte gets some runs on the board as they'll go ahead and make a couple of substitutions. Adam Eagle comes in at right field, you know, a little bit of defensive prowess. And Raciel Iglesias, one of the better closers as well in the USBL, comes in to try to save this game, and it's no problem for the closer. Easy 1-2 free. You'll love to see it. And the Charlotte Cougars are going to pull the upset on the Philadelphia Patriots, avoid the sweep as well, and Charlotte wins this game by a score of 7-4. So with that being said, that is going to wrap up today's episode of the USBL. But that being said, though, I'm going to tell you guys something. We are getting closer to the USBL inaugural draft. We'll probably have one more episode after this, and then the following episode will be the draft episode. But if you want to get a head start on the USBL, or at least getting a USBL custom prospect, you know, in the draft class, you know, going into season number 2, I need you guys to check out my main channel, join the Discord that is associated with my main YouTube channel, and I will have something up, you know, the day of this video going up. So this video will probably, you know, is going up today. There's probably something already out in the Discord for USBL custom prospects. So check that out as well if you want to get a head start on that. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed today's USBL content. And if you did, I encourage you to smash that like button. Hit me up down in the comments because I do like to read all your guys' comments. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to be brand new. I would truly appreciate it. But with that being said, I'm going to sign off here. But I hope you guys are all out there having a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.